7:33 a.m. Today's stage starts at 8:30. We had a nice light in. Feeling good, but also feeling quite nervous about today because we had a chat last night and we've come up with some rather interesting ideas about how we can ride today's stage. There's 3 time segments and the stage is only 65 kilometers, I think. But in 65 kilometers it climbs as much as we climbed yesterday on the Quad Affair in 95 kilometers. So 3,000 meters of elevation gain, 3 decent climbs. The first one being like part the way up Alpe before you turn off on a balcony road, which I've been told is absolutely stunning. The second one will be the Les Deux Alpes, I think, which is where the feed is. Charlie's going to be there today. The last climb is the Seren, which basically takes us all the way up to the top here at Alpe d'Huez, but from a different direction. And people have been saying how beautiful that climb is. So I'm looking forward to that one, probably more than any of them. So I think today is going to take like 3 hours maybe for 60k, with obviously all that climbing. So in terms of food, I'm not going to start with too much because the feed is only going to be like 30k in. So I'm going to start with 2 gels, each providing 30 grams of carbs. I'm going to aim for like 80 to 90 grams of carbs an hour, bearing in mind that we do have like rest periods at this stage. So the climbs I probably won't be able to eat on because they're going to be ridden pretty hard probably. I've got 1 bottle of energy on my bike, which is 60 grams of carbs, and then I'm going to like grab 2 potentially at the feed at the halfway mark, and make sure I'm drinking plenty, because you're always drinking for the next day, which I'll try not to think about tomorrow because it's the time trial of Alpe d'Huez.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go babies!
And away we go. Stage 2 underway. Now, I didn't really know how to structure this video, but I wanted to give you the best possible view of what we were planning on doing. So I decided to run the GoPro on my handlebars today to give you that, POV feel. Right in front of me there you have the orange jersey that is being worn by our Lantern Rouge of the event, Ed, who is also the gentleman in charge of Alpe Cycles, the great folks that we were staying with, accommodation and all of their support out on the road. Now, I actually roped Ed into this. We had a plan. We had a very cunning plan. Going into the bottom of the Alpe, here we are, literally hitting at the lowest slopes. And I want to leave the whole footage run because it's it's all part of how much fun we had, really. So the plan was for Ed to send it to the first hairpin. You can see Ed going full whack, full send, chasing after Thomas, who was actually the race leader at the time. Now, he told me afterwards that this was like a fake attack of some kind, just sort of playing around, I suppose. But that just meant that our plan was put into action even quicker. Now, our plan wasn't really serious. It was more a case of like, let's have a bit of fun. And, Ed was all up for that. Because Ed, after this pull, fair play to him, he just went back to the back of the group and helped everybody get around the rest of the day. But you can see here where we go past Thomas, I just come around Ed and I'm like, good job, buddy, thanks for everything, and off I go. For the next, 5 minutes or something, I sat at something I can sustain, but I knew it would be pretty hard for all of us, really. But my idea was, given that I was sat in 4th overall, I thought to myself, I've got a really good opportunity here to potentially climb up a podium spot, or into a podium spot, and put the pressure on, given that the time segment was starting right at the bottom of the Alpe. And we did the first couple of hairpins. This is the first hairpin. Charlie was stood in it, so she got some footage here. Thank you, Charlie. And here is the chase group. So there's the leader there in the orange jersey. Antonio's there, who eventually won the Haute route. Spoiler alert, sorry. But that's the chase group. But only the two guys, Antonio and Thomas, the race leader, got across to me later on the climb when I started to sort of to ease off a bit. Because I knew the damage had been done.
Got him up there, did I? Yeah, baby! Hey, it worked!
and Eddie was like absolutely thrilled with his lead out there, and fair play to him. I absolutely loved it. It's always good to have some fun. It's always good to enjoy. So we took that turn in right onto the balcony road, which a lot of you are telling me is absolutely fantastic. And there you can see the views are so incredible. I know I'm like desperately trying to hang on to the back wheels here of the two leaders, but I'm also conscious of trying to film at the same time. And we got onto the descent of that, which I found really difficult because of the shade and the sun. Like, I was having really difficulty in seeing where I was and picking out lines. So I actually lost time to the leaders on the descent. But it wasn't long after that we took on the next climb, which led me to the feed station to see Charlie and Benny there. It was great. And I also had a very, very good climb there, doing about 4.4 watts per kilo for half an hour.
How are you feeling?
Well, I can't descend for toffee.
Can't stand the toffee.
Especially after we were talking about how much of a drop it was. Yeah. They just left me. And I absolutely tore into them on the Alpe as well, so it's like pointless, isn't it? If I can't descend.
Come on then.
Oh, is this here? Yeah, we got stuff. Come on.
What do you need?
Now, you know that I'm all about keeping things real on this channel, and I'm definitely not one to shy away from saying, oh, my descending wasn't up to scratch, all of this stuff. It's not excuses. It's just something that, I've got out of the habit of doing. I've got out of the habit of pushing myself on descents. I've got out of the habit of, doing all that. And obviously being from Wales, you don't necessarily have the opportunity to do this anyway. So we got done with the feed. I was really happy with my climb just prior to the feed, setting I think the 4th fastest time on Strava up that climb, which meant I managed to pull some time back. But what you're seeing now are the lower slopes of the Suren, which takes us back up to the top of Alpe d'Huez. And I put the Haute on right at the bottom, which was really steep. I didn't get any footage there, but I was leading into that climb because the two guys, Antonio and Thomas, they didn't want me to disappear, because they knew that potentially they would have to ride as hard as they could to stop themselves from losing time to me, because it wasn't so much that I was a better climber, but if you let someone get out of sight, then you never know how hard they're going and how hard you have to ride in order to get up the climb at the same time. So that's why they wanted to start the climb with me, I suppose. So the Suren was an incredible climb. The road surface, not so good, but still, I think, as you can see here, the snow-capped mountains, the greenery, it more than made up for what was a lack of tarmac, shall we say. But yeah, we were catching some people who were doing the compact course because we were on the original route, which was slightly longer today. But yeah, we were now getting close to 2,000 meters above sea level, and my climb up here was actually quite good. I think for just over an hour, or maybe it was about an hour, and that was with a positive split, so going harder at the bottom than at the top. And that was only because I was trying to break the guys I was with, and I actually did. My goal of the day was actually to put people under stress on the climbs so that I could potentially move up a podium spot, and that's what happened. It was successful, so I managed to move up to 3rd overall, closing the gap to 2nd place to I think about a minute and a half. And once we got down the descent from the Suren and halfway down the Alpe, well, not so much halfway, but at least the last couple of hairpins, we took the turn, and Antonio had left me at this point, so he put time into me on this last segment coming into the finish. But I was pretty confident with how I was going. I was enjoying myself, I was having loads of fun, and I was also happy that I was able to execute you know, this fun wacky plan that we had at the start of the day to literally just break the event up from literally the first couple of 100 meters, you know, of the first segment of the Alpe. So it was really good fun, really good fun. And yeah, just got to thank Adi for the for the big lead out in the first couple 100 meters of the Alpe, because, you know, that's what really motivates me sometimes. You know, it takes me back to my racing days where, you know, people are just very happy to do a job like that, and it was really good fun. So a bit of data for you, because I know how much you love it. You got my overall time there, which I did estimate 3 hours, so 2 hours 50 was pretty good. Again, no massive maximum speed, but a pretty big 301 normalized power for the day. And I think like the 30-minute power 340 was on the second climb of the day. But yeah, I was well chuffed with that stage.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's like 56.
Okay, so it went in the end.
Yeah.
So coming into the final stage, the time trial up Alpe d'Huez, it meant all was to play for. I was now 1.5 minutes down on second place and 4 minutes down on first place. Could I move up another place on GC, or do I just stay where I am? We'll find out in the next video, so I'll see you then.